Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Executioner add-ons. Everyone's been asking behavior for a rework, and I decided if they're not going to do it, I will. I will be talking about all three parts of his kit: the Punishment of the Damned, which is the ranged attack he throws, the Rites of Judgment, which is the trail he leaves on the ground, and the Cages, which is used when survivors are tormented. I wanted to make these add-ons unique because I just felt that what the problem was before was the fact that all the add-ons were the exact same with number differences. I will only be changing add-ons, not anything to Executioner's base kit abilities. So if you want to find a rework to his abilities, please go somewhere else, or maybe I'll make a video on it in the future if you guys want to. Make sure to leave a comment if you think any of these are too strong or they just don't deserve to be an add-on, but I hope you enjoy. I will be going by the color of the add-ons, so I will be starting at brown, then going up yellow, green, purple, iridescent. But if you do want to see a specific rarity, you can just use the little time bar of the video. Starting off with the brown add-ons, the first one is the Black Strap. Originally, all it did was increase the range of the Punishment of the Damned by 0.5 meters. I like this as an add-on. Everyone knows that having add-ons that changes the range of a ability is good, so I actually increased it to 1 meter. I didn't do much for this one because I feel like based on the other add-ons, it's always good to have at least some of the add-ons stay original. The second add-on I decided to change was the Copper Ring. This increased the duration of Rites of Judgment by 1 second. All this did was make it so you'd have 1 more second of power. I didn't really think this was that useful even for a brown add-on, so I changed it so it actually decreases the charge rate of the Punishment of the Damned by minus 0.2 seconds. This means when you're putting your knife in the ground, usually it's 1 second, but this lowers it to 0.8 seconds. I know that a lot of people have quick add-ons that make you be able to use their power faster, and I just thought the Executioner deserved to have one of his own. This makes it a lot easier to use his power, and it's a lot more punishing for survivors, because if you're going for a window, it takes a lot less time for you to realize that they're actually not faking it, so you can pull up your power much quicker and just shoot them with it. The third add-on is the Dead Butterfly, which reduces the recovery time of Rites of Judgment by minus 2 seconds. I like this. It's always nice to have power reducing abilities in your add-ons, and I didn't change this one at all actually. I think this is very good to have as a brown add-on, and I don't think it's too weak, so it's definitely a good one to have. For context, his power takes 20 seconds to recharge, so this will take it from 20 seconds down to 18, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you also have to think that you're not always using your ability at max power. This makes it a lot easier for you to get back to max power and still have the same abilities you'd have if it was 20 seconds. The last brown add-on, we have the Lead Ring, which increases the duration of torment trails in the environment by 10 seconds. I changed this to if you are tormented and you get injured, you're placed straight into Deep Wound. I like this. It may be a little strong as a brown add-on, but I think it's a good idea to make survivors that have specific perks, maybe like Dead Hard. They may want to get rid of Judgment as soon as they can, while people with Made for this may want to keep Judgment, which could be punishing for them if they keep it long enough. Of course, you are able to get rid of the Mend by just mending, but if you are in a chase and you get injured while tormented, there's a very high chance you won't have time, so I do think this balances that a little bit. Next up is the Cinderella Music Box, which originally only increased the duration of the torment trails by 15 seconds. I don't like I said, that all the add-ons are the exact same thing, just number differences, so I went to more the Trapper route and made it so the trail is now shown as barbed wire on the ground instead of the big red trail of torment. What I mean by this is when you have a short trail of torment, all you see is the barbed wire from it. You don't actually see the red on the ground, and I think it would be really cool if we just increased the size of the barbed wire and made it as more like a hidden jump scare type ability. The next add-on is the Forgotten Videotape, which used to reduce the recovery time of the Rites of Judgment by 3 seconds. I made it so it increases the duration of Rites of Judgment by 5 seconds, so it goes from 20 seconds to 25 seconds. I think this is good. I didn't really like before how it was only 1 second because I feel you can't do too much with one, but with 5 seconds I feel like you're able to do maybe 1 or 2 extra shots, especially with add-ons coming up next. Next up, we got the leopard print fabric, which used to increase the duration of the killer instinct by 0.5 seconds when a survivor would run into the trail of torment. I didn't really like this. All I did was it hinders the survivor as long as they're in the trail of torment. This makes it so if you put a trail all around Shack and the survivor is forced to run in it, they're hindered by, I don't know, 5%. And that could help you catch up and get an extra hit. I think this is really good, especially because they lose the hinder the moment they step out of it, so they need to either take the punishment, of being in the trail, or getting out of the trail and being punished once again for having really bad pathing. Next up, we got the Spearhead, which, once again back to the unoriginality, increases the duration of Rites of Judgment by 1.5 seconds. I didn't like this, so I made it so it decreases the attack cooldown of the Punishment of the Damned by 0.45 seconds. This means the power ability, when using it, you go from 2.25 seconds to 1.8 seconds. I think this is good because it may help less experienced players be punished less, and it helps more experienced players be able to get that double hit much quicker. Now, we have arrived at the Wax Doll, one of the Executioner's favorite add-ons. Currently, it increases the range of the Punishment of the Damned by 1 meter. I made it so it increases the speed of the Punishment of the Damned by 0.2 seconds. This means the attack that usually takes 0.6 seconds now only takes 0.4 seconds to attack completely. What I mean by the attack is when you use your ability, it takes 0.6 seconds for the spikes to go completely through the range. Using this add-on, it no longer takes 0.6 seconds, it takes 0.4, making it a much quicker attack and much less reaction time for the survivors. Now, you may be thinking, why would you take out one of the ranges just because you put it in a brown one? No, I actually merged the old Wax Doll with the new Burning Man painting. The original one that we have right now increases the range by 1.5 meters. I decided to actually add the Wax Doll to the Burning Man painting and increase the reach of punishment ranged attacks by 2.5 meters. This now has both of the add-ons used in one, so the people who like using the add-ons that are the same can use both of the add-ons at once and still have another add-on slot available. Next up, we have the Mannequin Foot, which used to increase the duration of torment trails in the environment by 20 seconds. This is good as an add-on, but maybe as a brown. For a green, how about we triple that? I decided to increase it to 60 seconds in the environment, making it so when you place your torment trails, it lasts a whole extra minute. This is extremely useful if maybe you're going for a setup type build, and I just think you could definitely use it in a lot of different scenarios, as a minute is a very long time. Next add-on we got is the Misty Day Remains of Judgment add-on. This add-on originally increases the duration of Killer Instinct by 1 second. I changed it so it increases the width of the Rites of Judgment by 0.3 meters. What I mean by this is the trail that you place on the ground is increased by 0.3 meters. I don't think this is very powerful, but I do think that this could help get some extra torment by maybe placing it through pallets and not letting survivors have that small wiggle room to just run by without getting hit. For the next add-on, we have the Tablet of the Oppressor. Originally, it increased the duration of Rites of Judgment by 2 seconds. I changed it so it decreases the attack initiation penalty by 10%. What is the attack initiation penalty? When you use your power in-game, you may notice that your power goes down by a lot every time you use it. This makes it so you can't keep spamming your power and you may have to wait for your power to recharge. This is the attack initiation penalty. This takes 20% of your power every time you use it, but using this add-on, it lowers it from 20% down to 10%. This means that you can use your power more with less of a punishment, but in the end, if you use it too much, you'll still need to wait for your power to refresh. For the last green add-on, we have the Valtiel Sect Photograph. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Originally, what it did was reduce the recovery time of Rites of Judgment by 4 seconds. I changed it so the Punishment of the Damned no longer makes a sound if it's not within the line of sight of a survivor. This, I think, is one of the most overpowered add-ons I've made. If you cannot see the Executioner and he puts his sword into the ground, you don't hear the sound telling you that he put it in the ground. It's exactly like the Houndmaster bug that people are complaining about, but for a long-range killer that instantly injures you if you're not paying attention. This, I think, is extremely overpowered, but I also do think it is green because a good survivor will still know how to avoid it anyway. I should specify that when I say line of sight, I don't mean looking at the killer, I mean the killer is in the line of sight. So if I am able to see the survivor as the executioner, they have line of sight as me as well, which means they will be able to hear my power. If they are behind a wall, then they can no longer hear it. But if I'm chasing them to a window and they run up to the window and I use my power, they will be able to hear it. Next up, moving on to the purple add-ons, we have the Crimson Ceremony book. This used to make it so survivors hit by Punishment of the Damned suffer from the hemorrhage and mangled for 80 seconds. I don't really like this because I feel like if you're hit by the power, you're already getting chased, so half of that might as well go to waste. So I changed it to Punishment of the Damned now torment survivors upon hit, and it also decreases the range of the attack by a meter. This gives it a little risk reward because now it is like the executioner in the PTB, where hitting people with your power makes it so they're tormented. The issue with this is now that your attack is slightly shorter, you may have to think about how to use it or get an add-on and waste your other slot to increase the size of your range. For the second purple add-on, we have the Lost Memories book, which used to make it so survivors suffer from the Oblivious status effect for 15 seconds when affected by torment. What was this gonna do? If you are hit by the torment, 98% of the time you're in chase. So I changed this so survivors suffer from the Oblivious status effect while affected by torment. No timer. I also made it so unhooking another survivor from a cage no longer removes the torment, meaning the only way to get your torment removed is to get unhooked. This is really good, and you could probably say it's an iridescent, but I put it as a purple because I really do like the iridescent add-ons I have planned. Next up, we got the rust-colored egg, which used to make it so injured survivors suffer from the blindness status effect for 60 seconds when they're affected by torment. Once again, if you're being tormented, you will be in chase 98% of the time, so I don't like these types of add-ons. I kept the rust part of the egg and made it so if you're healing or being healed by a tormented survivor, their aura will be revealed to the executioner for 5 seconds, which I think is a really cool change because now it's kind of like how Freddy is in the new rework, where he can teleport to you if you're in the dream world. This makes it so you have to pay attention, but you also have to think if you want to use your medkit or not, as it won't show your aura then. For the final purple add-on, we have the Scarlet Egg, which used to increase the duration of Killer Instinct by 3 seconds. I changed it so you no longer have Killer Instinct when a survivor steps on the Trail of Torment, but instead you reveal their aura for 3 seconds. This makes it really good, as a lot of Executioner players need like a full aura build, as seen in the video, to get hits. And I think this would be really useful, as instead of needing to look through the wall just to see a heartbeat, you're able to just completely see their aura for 3 seconds. This is really good, and I don't think it's too strong. Yeah, with Lethal Pursuer it can be up to 5 seconds, but I don't see how this can be overused. Finally, we've made it to the point of the video where everyone's probably been waiting for, or they just skipped to. If you skipped, go watch the rest of the video. You know what you're doing. First up, we got the Iridescent Seal of Metatron. This used to make it so the auras of all survivors suffering from torment are revealed to you when you use a cage. I made it so now if you have all 4 survivors tormented, if you're in chase with a survivor, they are exposed. But it only has a maximum of 1 survivor. So if you are chasing a survivor and they're in comms, they can ask for a teammate to come in and take chase, so they stay exposed, but their teammate can take a hit for them. This, I think, is balanced because if all 4 survivors are tormented, you have already a lot of pressure, and I think just exposed would make it a lot better for you. This, mixed with the fact that you can only have 1 person exposed at a time, makes it so there are some counterplays to it, but also keeps it as an iridescent. But don't worry, I already thought ahead, and you may be thinking, well, what if they just make it so you do the egg so you can't get untormented when unhooking someone, and you use this add-on? Well, when all 4 survivors are tormented, the next person you down will immediately lose their torment. This is what I think keeps it balanced and also makes it so you can't just keep spamming it, but you could also technically tunnel out the survivor. But then again, it is an iridescent add-on, so it should be a little overpowered, right? Finally, we have the Iridescent Obsidian Goblet. Originally, it made it so you get the undetectable status effect while standing in the torment trails. I didn't change it too much because I thought this was a good add-on, they just needed to tweak a few numbers. So I made it so you get the undetectable status effect when standing in it, but you also keep the effect for 30 seconds after leaving the trail. If you are putting the trail down, it does not count as the undetectable though, so you will need to put it down and then turn around, walk through it, and keep going. I think this is useful for jump scare builds, or maybe if you want to use Starstruck, but also use it kind of like how Benjo DBD did, where he stayed in the trail until someone got close. I think this was amazing, and that's actually the experience that I used for this add-on. I, again, like the undetectable because I feel like a Silent Hill character should have some form of jump scare, and I think it's great that it's an iridescent. I just made it actually worth its rarity. So those were all of the add-ons. I think I did a great job with them, but to be fair, that's a little biased. So make sure to tell me in the comments if you think any of these should be changed or should actually be added to the game. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye!